this lecture, we focus basically on online platform. And online platform is not just like any physical platform, because there are many characteristics that physical platform do not have, but you see them in online platform. So, for example, how is a market, a web market, different from an online marketplace like Shopee? Why is different? If platform has been in place for such a long time, why do people are so excited about online platform at the moment, and they are dominating the world? What is it that makes online platform unique and powerful? So this is the essence of the economic of platform and the platform economy. So this is the platform that you are all familiar, that some of them Ajahn Proy has already mentioned. Platform are in your mobile phone. They are in the forms of apps. So there are so many types of platform available. But in this slide, you see two sentences that try to introduce you to the concept of platform a bit. First of all, it says mobile phone. A mobile phone is a product, but the apps in the mobile phone, most of them are platforms. In your mobile phone, there are things that are called apps, and they happen to be platforms. They match people together. So is Zoom a platform? Certainly it is, because it matches people in groups like this together. The mobile phone itself can be thought as a platform as well. If you use voice communication, it connects you to your friends by voice communication, but you no longer use a lot of voice communication provided by telecom operator. You probably connect to your friend more often through apps, calling through WhatsApp, Line, and other applications. So what do platforms do? For general businesses, they sell goods. Like if you go to an iPhone store, they'll sell you a mobile phone, iPhone. So you are clients to them. They sell goods to you. So basically, to produce a phone, they have to use raw materials to produce it, and have to use labor, have to use capital. That's the general idea of the production function that you are familiar with. That's the economics of goods. You have to have the bit. You use the raw materials, you use labor, you use capital to produce it and sell it physically. If we extend goods to be more general, it's services. Services can be provided in many ways. Services can be provided online, as we can teach online. Services can be conducted in online for other kind of services. For example, financial services, you can shopping online. But then there are services that have to provide it in person. For example, if you go to a hospital, you have to meet a doctor physically there at the hospital, and the doctor will treat you, will inspect your body, and prescribe you some medicine. So it's a kind of face-to-face service. It used to be that way for quite a long time. Almost the entire human history, we provide service by face-to-face. But now even medicine, even education can be partly provided online. But in the general economics, where people sell goods and services, they usually price the goods and services above the cost. And that's really easy to understand. Otherwise, you are making losses, right? So it's impossible for you to price below the cost in the long run. You can certainly do it in the short run. For example, if there are some people who would like to compete with you, you probably would like to price them out. If you have a big purse, a lot of spending power, you can just selling below your cost for some times to drive them out. For example, if you have a big coffee chain like Starbucks, and there is another coffee chain that would like to open close to you to compete with you. One strategy is that you lower the price of your coffee so that their customers flock to yours, and then you can price them out, and then they go bankrupt, you can increase the price again. So if you have the monopoly power, you can price below the cost for some times. And if you do it for a long time, you'll be charged with anti-monopoly, predatory pricing, if you happen to know the words. So generally speaking, in the fiscal world, in the good old world that we know very well, price is generally above the cost. And the size of the business matters a lot. If you have big business, it is likely that you have so-called the economy of scale. Economy of scale is generally from the so-called the supply side. If you have a big factory, big production capacity, comparing with smaller ones of your rival, you will have a lower total cost, because the portion of the fixed cost can be distributed among the units sold of your product. Now, let's contrast that with the platform economy. What do platforms sell? Basically, it doesn't sell goods. It sells a kind of service called matching between groups of clients. It can be one group of clients, homogeneous group like students. It can be many groups of clients. For example, if you think of a nightclub, a bar, as a platform, you can see that this is a really interesting platform. Why do people go to nightclubs? There are so many objectives. They go there to drink, but I don't think that's the ultimate objective. You can drink at home, right? If you like to drink. From time to time, they have a kind of promotion that this is a lady night. Lady will get free drinking, but gentlemen are charged. So this is a really interesting kind of marketplace. A platform like this match client one, client two together. Client one might be females, client two might be males. And the platform will sell a matching service. A nightclub, for example, sells not only alcohol, but it also sells basically matching. So they would like people to go there and interact. So basically, they use us as their raw materials in producing this matching. And in the case of a female guest, you can see that some from time to time they are charged nothing or very cheaply to induce them to go. And if the ladies go, the gentlemen will go. A good club should have a balanced participation between men and women. If all males go and it's not a gay club, then it will get really boring. If it is all ladies, it's also getting to be quite boring. So it have roughly 50-50 proportion, right? So the club can use a strategy to attract attractive ladies, to go. Then the male will follow. And if the male go, ladies have more incentive to go as well. So they can have a number of pricing strategy. The pricing strategy per platform is a really active field of research. There are so many strategies. So basically they have to balance and they have to price to achieve that. And in a platform, what really matters is not only size. Size also matters. But what matters the most is liquidity. Liquidity means the ease of transaction, the ease of interaction. If there are a lot of matching, we say that there's a lot of liquidity. So a bigger club will have a bigger pool, so it have generally it can have more liquidity. But if you have only a small platform and you manage well, you can also have a good liquidity level as well. So this is one of the quite important concept. Why platforms are so dominating the business world. This is quite an old slide I compiled a few years ago. It's about the most valuable business. So the largest business here are the one with most value in terms of market capitalization. Around 12, 13 years ago, there are a lot of companies on the top chart are related to natural resources. At that time, oil price was very high. So you can see that companies related to oil and gas, like PetroChina, like Econ, had very high market valuation. Make money, not only from selling well-designed iPhone. That's just the beginning. And if you study the history of Apple, you might be surprised that at the beginning, Steve Jobs did not allow third-party apps in their iPhone, in this iPhone store. It's only Apple app, until someone party apps. But now Apple is making a lot of money by, charging the app developers. If you develop a good app, you can sell it on Android or on iOS platforms. If you get some revenue, they'll get a cut from your revenue. So that's the way they make money. So that's the way Apple is really making a lot of profit, Not only selling products, but also selling services, apps. Google. Is Google a platform? Google, yeah, probably the most Google services you use are the search engines, right? The case that Google has at least two types of clients. Actually, they have more parties engaged in that kind of interaction. Generally speaking, you might want to look at some interesting websites. They sell ads, right? And the website cannot run on its own without any revenue, so it sells ads. If the website is popular, it can sell a lot of ads. So there are three parties involved here, apart from Google. The first one is us. We pay nothing to use Google, so Google is wonderful for us. We can search, we can find things that we are looking for. And then Google gather our data. They know our interest because we express that interest by searching using some keywords. So the first client of Google is us, users. Second one is the content owner, which is basically the one who have the web content. And then there is another party, advertiser. So Google match us to the advertiser through the web page of the content owner. Ajahn Ploy, please join.
Anyway, I just wanted to add, like sometimes when you have a business and you want to make sure that when people Google that type of business and you run on the top, this is called search engine optimization. So basically you pay someone to make your website searchable, and you probably pay Google too. And sometimes you compete, for example, like if you like fitness first, and your direct competitor is like We Fitness, right? So sometimes when people search for We Fitness, you beat that by paying. I don't know exactly like the actual what you do, but you pay for that keyword as well. So when people search like We Fitness, your fitness first also show up even before, sometimes even before We Fitness. If you're curious, now you can type in and search for different type. For example, when you're searching for like hotel, sometimes you search, I don't know, like St. Regis, and maybe some other hotels show up, and even on top of St. Regis, because they're competing in this area. And people who make money are the ones, you know, like providing the platform and providing the consulting service for this type of platform.
Thank you for your intervention. It's a really good example. That's the way Google make money. They have a great technology, which is the search algorithm that have a kind of a good indexing and rank. They call it the page rank algorithm, which is very good. That's stem from the founders, Sergey Brin and Larry Page, PhD thesis at Stanford University. So that's how they started the company. And they also have another interesting algorithm, which is advertising matching algorithm. The one who pay the most get on the top, get the most visible spot. So that's Google. Then there is Microsoft. What is Microsoft? What kind is it, a platform, and what kind of platform is it? How do Microsoft make money? Certainly, it used to make money from selling products like operating system, the Windows, and also Offices, right? Offices products like Microsoft Word, Excel, something like that. But is that it? Is it also another kind of platform? What does Amazon do? In Thailand, people say Amazon sells coffee, which is different kind of Amazon. And in Thailand, they call it Amazon, right? So Amazon we are talking about is partly and one of the largest e-commerce company in the world. Excluding Asia is certainly the largest one. If you count Asian giant as well, Alibaba, Tencent, I think it's arguable who's the largest one. But interestingly, even though e-commerce provided by Amazon acting as a platform, it does not making a lot of money out of e-commerce. E-commerce is really expensive business, really low margin. Amazon is really interesting in the sense that it have turned its cost center to be profit center. If you are running a business, there are certain units in your company that are cost center, meaning, generally speaking, it won't be able to make any profit. You just pay them because it's important. Chulalongkorn, if Chulalongkorn is a company, then Chulalongkorn has a lot of profit centers and cost centers. Cost center, for example, Chulalongkorn have janitors, right? They have to pay janitors to clean up universities. So janitors do not directly create revenue, so it can be considered as cost center. Chulalongkorn has, for example, engineering faculty, engineering department is really popular, so many people go there and pay money to enter. So that profit center. Amazon has a unit that used to be cost center, and it turned it to be a profit center, and now generates most of the profit for the whole company. The service is called Amazon Web Services, AWS. Actually, Ajahn Proy and I having some projects relating to cloud computing at the moment. They provide cloud services, and this is a really lucrative business. At the very beginning, Amazon Web Service is part of the cost center. If you are doing e-commerce business, you need to have some hosting services, right? You have to have data storage. So that used to be their cost center. But one day, the manager thought of a wonderful idea. Why don't just turn this kind of cost center to be a profit center by letting other companies host their data on their data center. And that's proved to be really lucrative business. And not only that, Amazon also turned other cost centers into a profit center as well. Logistics, for example. It has run really big logistics in United States, one of the most efficient. One day delivery, something like that. So that's Amazon. There's a really interesting book I just read a few days ago that argue that even though Apple used to be Apple Computer, by the way, the name. Now it's only Apple because it's not clearly in the business of selling computer, but it's selling not only iPhone, but selling services under the platform. So it's have a new name, Apple. Apple used to be the first company that reached 1 trillion US dollar in terms of market valuation. But the book I read argued that Amazon would be the first company to reach 3 trillion US dollar because of its really interesting business model. Then there is Facebook. This is all you know. Facebook just match people and sell ads, right? Then Tencent. Tencent is you probably know already, is Chinese e-commerce and Chinese super apps. So it sells a lot of things. But the interesting things about these all 6 companies is that they are all platforms. So platforms are really powerful. Platform is a very good business at the moment. And you can see that even the things that are called unicorns. We don't have unicorns in Thailand, but probably you heard about the word unicorn. Unicorn is a startup. It's not been listed in the stock market yet, but it has market valuation of over 1 billion US dollar. That's called unicorn. So most unicorns are also platforms. Yeah, that's right. Grab is a unicorn. It's even bigger than a unicorn. It can be something called, I'm not quite sure, a decacorn, 10 billion US or something like that. Okay, คุณนารีรัตน์
Omise หรือเปล่า
Omise. Yes, Omise is also Omise is not yeah, it's very interesting whether Omise is a unicorn or not. Omise by some valuation it has over 1 billion US dollar. Should probably be a unicorn. But the way that it's raised the fund is not by venture capitalist money, but it's by token, by cryptocurrency. So it's people still debating whether it's a proper unicorn. But yes, it's a very interesting company. So that are the platforms companies. They are one of the largest company in the world. They are the unicorns. Most of the unicorns are platforms. There are very few exceptions of the unicorns I know that are not platform. So platform is everywhere. They are dominating the world. And they are becoming monopolists or oligopolists in the new economy. Why is it so? Why is platform so dominating? Ajahn Ploy, you want to join? Okay, please go ahead.
No, I was thinking, I think one of the things that the platforms trying to like competing with one another is trying to get the airtime of the people. So basically, if you log in, if you have their account, and if you spend a lot of time on it, they're trying very hard to sell you other things as well. Like, I mean, some of them like Grab, it started as a ride sharing service, but then right now it's delivering food. And then it's probably going to try to sell you other services as well. So Grab may have like many services, and some may not, they may not make profit, but as long as they make you stay online as on that platform as long as possible, they can try to sell you other services that make money. Or I think at the very end, all the platforms are competing for the same thing as your airtime. So once they get your airtime, they sell you everything else. They try many projects. You can see Line start as a chat app. Right now, they're trying to provide banking service. And like, let's say, I don't know, like Shopee, they started with like e-commerce, but they're trying to do like Shopee Pay as well. So they're moving on to other services. So at the very end, I think they're just like giant multi-dimensional platform competing with one another. And regardless of how they started, that would be my take on it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Ajahn Poi has mentioned that platform would like to have the size, but having large scale, isn't it the same as conventional business that we talked about? When in my previous slide, I have a section that indicate that size really matters in the old business. Certainly, size also is important in the platform business. But is the economics of platform the same or different from the economics of goods and service? Thinking about how platform economy works. Basic idea is quite complicated. You can read his paper, or you can go to the Nobel Prize website that have accurate and simple explanation of how it works. But I'm going to explain in a much simpler way. This is the example why platform economics is so different from the economic that you have learned in your 101 class. First of all, if you look at a platform, that are apps in your mobile phone, you can think of it as, there are so many things, but just think about it as App Store, Apple App Store, which is a platform. If there are many people who use the App Store, there will be a lot of positive feedback. Positive feedbacks and negative feedbacks are important concepts in terms of system size and economic as well.